From the Washington Post, Trump seeking executive power over elections is urged to declare emergency. Activists who say they are in coordination with the White House are circulating a draft executive order that would unlock extraordinary presidential power over voting. Pro-Trump activists who say they are in coordination with the White House are circulating a 17-page draft executive order that claims China interfered with the 2020 election as a basis to declare a national emergency that would unlock extraordinary presidential power over voting. President Donald Trump has repeatedly previewed a plan to mandate voter ID and ban mail ballots in November's midterm elections, and the activists expect their draft will figure into Trump's promised executive order on the issue. The White House declined to elaborate on Trump's plans. Under the Constitution, it is the legislatures and state that really control how a state conducts its elections, and the president doesn't have any power to do that, said Peter Ticktin, a Florida lawyer who is advocating for the draft executive order. Ticktin attended the New York Military Academy with Trump and was part of his legal team that filed an unsuccessful 2022 lawsuit accusing Democrats of conspiring to damage him with allegations that his 2016 campaign colluded with Russia. But here we have a situation where the president is aware that there are foreign interests that are interfering in our election process, Ticktin went on, that causes a national emergency where the president has to be able to deal with it. So I'm not particularly excited about the idea of Trump having an executive order that in any way affects elections, but I do like the idea of voter ID. So, and most of the reason why I don't like the idea of an executive order is because of what you're giving to the Democrats, right? This whole thing, the way it's framed is, oh, Trump's going to do this executive order and he's going to cheat at the elections and he's going to install himself. It's feeding into the narrative that the left has been making that Trump's not going to leave office in 2028. He's going to be a dictator, et cetera, et cetera. And this is just about, voter ID, which is really about making sure that only Americans are voting, only citizens are voting. And the argument is, look, if the Republicans don't want to pass the SAVE Act, which the SAVE Act, I like it. There are Republicans that don't want to touch it. There's 4 that don't want to vote to end the zombie filibuster because it could affect there's 1 that's up for re-election, and I think 2 of them are not. The McConnell's not, and there was someone else that's not, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, there's 4 that say no. They're not going to get to 53, so they're not going to be able to stop the zombie filibuster. So the SAVE Act is probably dead. So Trump's like, all right, well, I'm going to have an executive order to make sure that there have to be, IDs to vote, and there are no mail-in ballots, which personally I think mail-in ballots are a terrible idea, and I think that you should have to show ID to vote. So
wouldn't this just be taken to the Supreme Court and then eventually struck down?
I assume so, but but the thing is, the Supreme Court picks its cases, months and months in advance. Mm-hmm. So what would likely happen is he'll probably actually have the executive order after he knows that this case can't get to the Supreme Court before the election, because now we're 7 months away, until November. So, the Supreme Court will decide what they're going to do in the fall. They'll probably decide, I think, in May or June or something like that. And if he makes the executive order, then they're not going to put it on the docket. They could say that it's an emergency. It's possible, but I don't know.
Feels like nothing gets done anymore without executive orders, and that sucks too. Nothing gets done in Congress. The only thing that happens is Trump does executive orders, Biden does executive orders. Everybody complains that it's executive overreach, which it is for the most part, and
it's Congress's fault.
Yes, and it's an increasing amount of overreach from the executive branch, and it's not even lasting progress because most of the time it ends up getting shot down anyways. So we're just stuck in this limbo.
Not only that, it damages the country because we got such a polarized, political situation that when Biden got in, he undid all of the actually good policies regarding the border that Trump had. The Remain in Mexico, he undid that. He undid
oil?
What was it?
And fracking.
Yeah, that stuff he undid. But the only reason that he undid the stuff was because they were Donald Trump's executive orders. It was about saying, screw you, Donald Trump, we don't like you, so we're going to undo all of your executive orders, even the ones that are good. And we ended up with, by some estimates, 20 million people that came into the country illegally.
Well, can you tell me again what the point was about? You said that Democrats don't like him, therefore it's bad because they'll frame it a specific way?
Yeah, so they don't like Donald Trump, and they're going to frame this as they're going to truthfully say that this is executive overreach, and
he's horrible at PR anyways. He leans into that, like he leaned into Trump 2028. He's his own worst enemy.
But
when it comes to that stuff.
When it comes to elections, they're going to use that to get out the vote. They're going to say Donald Trump.
They're
going to say Donald Trump is a dictator. He's trying to steal the election. They've already started. Like, you look on X, as soon as this came out, people were saying, "Oh, he's trying to steal the election. He's trying to rig the election, et cetera, et cetera." And really, what he's trying to do is make sure that only people that have IDs vote. And they're going to say, "Oh, he's trying to disenfranchise women because women can't get IDs because they're dumb, and black people can't get IDs because some reason." We
need it to go through, because when Fetterman wins in 2028, we need to know that it's for sure.
Fetterman.
I'm all in on Fetterman 2028.
I don't hate that at all. I don't hate that. But it, like I said, I mean, it's giving the Democrats ammunition. It's helping them in their campaigns. But at the same time, I mean, I really do think that it should be obvious that you have to have ID to vote. It should be obvious that you don't do mail-in ballots because they're not secure. And these policies, we can't get Congress to actually do it, at all. So, he's
you
like,
can't
all right,
even do it with a supermajority.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't get anything done with a supermajority, what are Americans supposed to believe when you have a split Congress and Senate?
Mm-hmm.
They stuff it all. They get stuff done, but they stuff it into those omnibuses, and no one knows what it was that they did. And they push a button every year, and that's what they did. 8 months worth of legislature in one big 100,000-page bill.
Well, I tell you what.
Sorry,
you can take that. Nowadays, you can take that bill and put it into AI and put it into whatever your AI of preferences and say, "Hey, all right, give me a synopsis. What is this?" And I mean, it might take a 1,000-page bill and knock it down to a couple hundred pages, but it's something that's digestible and you can read.
This is something about dictatorship. Dictator does not mean evil. Dictator could be a good guy. You could call what's a benevolent dictator. They exist in history. They've come and gone, and they came in, seized total authority, fixed the system because it had been corrupted, and then they leave. And the system now goes back to normal and is healthy again.
Are you saying that you want Donald Trump to do this?
Well, I think that's what he is doing with these executive orders. He's trying to override Congress because of the corruption of big business, global money coming in. We can have non-citizens voting because they don't even need to show IDs. It's freakish. Who knows what kind of corruption could happen? So he's trying to use dictatorial powers to fix it. Then the audience, the blue guys or whatever, they're like, "Oh, he's a dictator," trying to insinuate that means he's evil. But it could be a very good thing to have a momentary dictatorship. Abraham Lincoln became a dictator for a moment when he started stripping people of their human rights. During wartime, obviously, presidents become dictators in general. They have a lot of dictatorial power. But it's new for Americans to have to face a dictator and to be like, maybe there's some value to this.
Where are we at? I looked a while back. How many executive orders has he signed versus others?
Trump?
Yeah. I mean, when he was reelected, I took a look, and there were some others that were right up there with him.
I mean, Biden did quite a few in his term, right? From what I understand.
Yeah, from what I know.
But Trump's first term, was that like a huge jump from Obama's?
In Biden's first term?
No, was Trump's first term a huge amount of executive orders compared to... I know... Say that again?
I think Obama had a ton, too, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but I think George W. had very, very little.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Trump signed more in his first year than he did in his first term.
Yeah, Trump signed 240. First 100 days, he signed 143. First full year of his... Wait a minute, that must be his first... Hold on.
Mm-hmm. I got 243 in his first term.
No, I'm sorry.
This time around.
Yeah, 240 in his second term. In his first term, it was 140 in the first 100 days. First year was 225, so total was 240.
But he's on track to do 4 times more in his second term if the pace keeps up. I don't know how many Biden had.
Yeah,
and then
even back to Clinton from what I was reading before as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a list.
Say that again?
Even back to Clinton as well.
Like he did a lot or a few?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and then the Patriot Act. I mean, immense
wasn't
dictatorial
order,
power to the president.
The president wasn't, or the Patriot Act wasn't an executive order, though. That was passed by Congress.
No, I meant that it gives the president this even more dictatorial ability to override Congress and launch, strikes and wars.
Yeah, but Congress has an incentive to not actually do anything, right? Anything that they have to vote on, they want to pass the power to someone else. They want to give it to the president.
So that they don't have to answer to their...
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Well, even so this year, at least, from what my memory recalls, how many tiebreaker votes did we need from the VP?
Yeah, like at least 2 or 3.
Exactly. And it just seems like it's been so much more. I know that seems like a low number, right? But even in just the first year of the term of the administration.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the Democrats do vote as a bloc. Right, like you very rarely get anyone. Fetterman he's got terrible approval ratings with the Democrats. He's got great approval ratings with the Republicans, and the Republicans are just like, at least he's honest, all right. At least he's doing his job. At least he thinks about the stuff. All the rest of the Democrats are just like, what am I supposed to vote? Okay.
Whenever he wins office, you guys are gonna have to come back to me because I've been on the train since he got elected. I said he's going to the presidency.
I don't hate him.
You know who the president is with the most executive orders?
I don't remember. No, I just remember
Anybody?
the first
FDR. It was FDR with
FDR.
3,700.
Yeah.
3,700 he served 3 terms.
a wartime president.
Yes. And then the next up was Woodrow Wilson, also
The worst president.
They call him the most autocratic of all. He's the one that got us the Federal Reserve Act, basically
Absolute
sold us
worst
over to the
president.
bankers. 1,800. So 3,700, 1,800, then down to 1,200. Now we're looking at people with like 600 and 400.
Yeah.
It was,
I think he's pretty much right in line with some of the others in the past 40 years.
Yeah. He's not particularly outside of what would be considered normal. And the left, to your point, Ian,
More vocal about it.
the left would say that their favorite presidents are the ones that have been the most egregious when it comes to executive orders and presidential power. Abraham Lincoln, FDR, Woodrow Wilson.
They love FDR, don't
they? They love FDR. They love Woodrow Wilson. He's considered the father of the progressive movement. And these guys were very, very comfortable exercising power. And just saying, well, I'm the president, I can do it. I'm the president, I can do it. And now they scream about how Trump's a dictator, but all of the left, they love these presidents that were, outside of the norm when it came to executive orders.
Well, because they've never had to deal with the pushback, right? Because they've always been able to shout down any Republican who gets into office by telling you that they're a dictator when they know that, it's Saul Alinsky.
Yeah.
Accuse others that you yourself are guilty of.
Yep, exactly.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.